But another film that's also available on Netflix that I think is a lot better, a lot more worth your time, that came out back in 2020. I was kind of debating on not checking this out before I did my top 10 to 2020 list, but thank God I did. I'm talking Extraction. That's right, Extraction, directed by a guy named Sam Hargrave and written by one of the Russo brothers. And if you don't know who the Russo brothers are, they're the directors of Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and Civil War. And this film, Extraction, is based off of a graphic novel called Queedad, which the Russo brothers and a guy named Andy Parks wrote. What am I saying? Wrote. And this film is uniquely directed by a primarily stunt coordinator. He's a stunt guy. Sam Hargrave is a stunt coordinator. He's a stunt guy, and he's worked on a lot of stunts, a lot of them on those Avenger films, and a lot of other big action films too. I just don't have a list in front of me, but this film, man, you can tell it's directed by a stunt coordinator because holy shit, the action is quite good. But this film also stars Chris Hemsworth as Tyler, a mercenary who is hired to try to retrieve a son of a crime lord in India who was abducted by another rival crime lord in India. So, yeah, Chris Hemsworth's character, Tyler, is contracted. He's a mercenary. He's contracted to get back this crime lord's son. And that is the premise of our film. And that's kind of it, which is kind of awesome. Like I said, this film is a straight-up action movie and doesn't try to do anything more than that. And I feel like, I don't know if I've talked about self-awareness in film, but whenever your film is it just knows what it is, and it doesn't try to do anything more or less, like, just kudos, good job. Like, don't try to be anything you're not, and that's what this film understands. It is an action film through and through, and it doesn't try to be anything more than that. Now, this film, I think probably hands down some of the best action of the year, of 2020, for sure. I was getting heavy, The Raid and John Wick vibes, like I was saying outside the wire. When it goes in those close quarter fighting combat scenes, it's very quick cut and jump cutty and edited very quickly, and you kind of don't really understand what's going on in the scene. Not in this film. This film, you have like a wide shot and it like doesn't cut, and there are these long takes, and it looks like Chris Hemsworth's doing everything. Like, it was amazing. I was super impressed. Like, I honestly didn't really have that great of high expectations for this one. And like, this film kind of like weird, low key blew me away a little bit. I was like, holy shit, man, this action is so good. I was super impressed. Like I said, heavy John Wick and The Raid vibes. If you haven't seen either of those films, The Raid is so good. It's an Indonesian foreign film, probably some of the best action you'll ever see. And John Wick with Keanu Reeves, I mean, come on. We all know what John Wick is now, deservingly so. But yeah, that style of like no cuts, long take action scenes where you just see everything. You see all the choreography and you appreciate it. And it's so intense and nail biting, and just, the sound effects of like you feel every punch. And like you see like the characters getting so battered, and that's another thing that this film does incredibly well. The action can get a little bit ridiculous at times, but you see the toll that the fighting takes on Chris Hemsworth's character throughout the film, which I really, really, really appreciated. Yeah, and I think just again, it's an action film, so don't expect Citizen Kane or, whatever. I mean, they kind of have this like Last of Us type of feel with, an Ellie and Joel type of relationship with Tyler, Chris Hemsworth's character, and this kid. I mean, obviously, it's not as compelling as Ellie and Joel in The Last of Us. Like, come on now, like, relax. But, like, it does enough to emotionally engage you and be emotionally captivated or, like, care about them. Like, you care about them, which is totally good. It's perfect. Like, you just make me care enough to, like, make me care about what happens to Tyler and this kid. Because if you do that, the action is put on another level, which it is. So, like, kudos, I mean, to the actors. Chris Hemsworth, I mean, say what you will about him. I think he's a pretty good actor, and I think he does a really great job in here. I mean, and again, he's not going to be nominated for any acting awards, but, like, he doesn't fucking have to. I mean, still, like, he's also doing a lot of his stunts. I mean, obviously, he's not doing everything. Like, Keanu Reeves doesn't obviously do everything in those John Wick movies because, you know, the director doesn't want him to, like, get injured and delay production. In the same way, same thing here probably, but, like, I don't notice when he's not in it. Like, I think he's doing everything, and that's what you think in John Wick. Like, you think Keanu's doing everything, which obviously they're not. But the film, you know, misguides you to thinking like they are. So yeah. Also, like, other characters, there's another character in this that's kind of an ultimate badass. Weirdly, I'm guessing he's supposed to be Indian, but he kind of looks more Native American to me, but it doesn't fucking matter. He's a fucking badass, and I loved his character. I thought it was so cool. The fight scene between him and Chris Hemsworth character is, like, super awesome. It's super epic. Again, like, the sort of relationship between Tyler, Chris Hemsworth's character, and this kid, I think is developed pretty well. And I actually did enjoy it, and I was emotionally invested, especially at the very end, and I think it does pay off as well at the end, which, you know, like I talked about with Scanners, having your ending actually be good is very important. And I think the ending of this film is actually pretty great and also kind of epic. There's also some twists and turns here and there that kind of, like, you know, shake things up a little bit, which I actually really liked, which I appreciated. Also, there's a little fun cameo with a side character in the middle of the film, which I thought was really cool. I just think some of the side characters in this film, I think, like, when they cut to them and not spend that time with Tyler and this kid, like, some probably would say, like, I don't really care about those side characters. Like, let's get back to Tyler and this kid because that's the most compelling part. But I actually enjoyed those side character moments. I feel like they are important to the main story, and especially at the very end, to make, you know, everything kind of make sense and a little bit more relevant and a little bit more emotional weight to it, which I thought was cool. I mean, I didn't really expect that out of this film, but I kind of got it, which was cool. Is the film perfect, though? I mean, no, even though it knows what it is, I think some things could have been a little bit better. Like I said, with us Outside the Wire, there is some CGI used in this film, and I think sometimes it's kind of noticeable at times. Like, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to use CGI at some point. I mean, you can't do everything practically. It's just impossible sometimes. So yeah, when CGI is used, it's noticeable, at least to me. Some of the action also is a bit ridiculous. I mean, like, a dude gets fucking run over by a truck in this film and just gets up. And I'm like, you'd be fucking dead, dude. Holy shit. Yeah. Some of the action is kind of ridiculous at times, but it's also a movie, so I didn't really care. You know, I'm like, it's still kind of awesome. It just makes this character more of a badass to me. Taking a drink here, sorry. But, yeah, and obviously it's an through and through action film, so just remember, you're not watching Citizen Kane or anything, or, you know, some Best Picture nominee or whatever, or a Best Script nominee. You know, if you go into it understanding that, you're going to heavily enjoy this film. So overall, I'm super glad I checked this one out before I made my top 10 list of 2020, because this one, it pushed. It pushed in. It might have pushed in there. So stay tuned for that list coming in the next episode. But Yeah, man, does this movie have the movie magic? Yeah, it fucking does. I mean, it gave me huge The Raid vibes, huge John Wick vibes. It's the best action, I think, out of 2020 you can watch. It's really great. I mean, just the action alone just makes this worth watching to me. And a movie that's worth watching has the movie magic, in my opinion. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, this is Nerd Out Sanctuary. I'm your host, Michael. What do I talk about, you say? Well, I talk about anything nerdy. So that's movies, video games, TV shows, comic books every once in a while. Books, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Anything that I feel like talking about. I'm a huge nerd. I hope you're a huge nerd, and I hope we can enjoy our nerdiness together here. This is a full audio podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the major podcast platforms. So consider going over to those and checking out the full version of this of the episode. And other past episodes, please leave me a review and subscribe on those platforms. If you don't want to do that, clipped, shorter versions of those full episodes will be posted here on YouTube. So consider subscribing and liking the videos for more to support me and future content that I will be producing in the future on nerdy stuff. So yeah, thank you, and see you on the next one.